Tina Ford, how you doing?
I am great, and you?
Great. Just got out back from sun gazing outside. Wanted to energize myself in time before the show. Although I must say I'm feeling a little weighed down because I actually ate 3 pizzas today. That was yeah, that
Oh.
was it was kind of not supposed to happen. Was only supposed to eat two because the restaurant had a discount on food today. But the representatives who deliver food to my job were supposed to deliver tomorrow, but they delivered food today. They knew I could eat a whole pizza, so they got me a whole pizza, and I forced myself to eat 3 pizzas today just so I wouldn't have to reheat it. So even though I'm feeling a little weighed down, I just took Brain Force from Infowars pill to get me all energized. So I'm gonna suck it up and go through this. I'm actually feeling pretty good anyway. So I feel pretty energized having come back from Tolek's conference, the Drama Council Contactees Fall Equinox conference. It was a smashing success. By the way, I can hear like a windy noise in the background. What is that?
It's probably my headphones. I was moving around.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. Where did I meet you? I had your card, and I was in the process of trying to contact a whole slew of potential guests. So I saw your card. You have a divinenaturalherbs.com website, holistic healing and all. Definitely stuff worthy of being on my show, as I like to talk about this kind of stuff, health-related issues, and anything that could put the tyrannical jackasses who run big pharma out of business. So I'll give you the chance now for those that haven't heard of you. You did give me your little bio here. I'll put that up on YouTube when I upload it. So why don't you regurgitate everything that you wrote in that little bio that you sent me. Give out your contact info. I gave your site, but you can give it out as well, and then we'll go from there. So looking forward to hearing what you have to say. We'll just ad lib from here. Let our angels and guides guide us. So you got the floor, Tina. Please give us your life story. Please try to keep it educational. Try to act as a nice, genuine primary source. Keep it educational but fun and interesting at the same time. You got the floor.
Okay, hi everybody. This is Tina Ford. Like Andrew said, I am the owner of Divine Natural Herbs, and Divine Natural Herbs are herbs to pretty much heal the body. So I got into this because 2014 I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and at that point it was a time for me to fight to live. Andrew, do you want me to go into my whole story?
Yeah, but like I said, keep it educational, and particularly the stuff that you did. Well, it says you found spirituality here in your our story thing here, so keep it to a very spiritual level, because like I said, this purpose of this show is to expose the nature of reality, and whenever I give my guests a chance to tell their life story, I always want to make sure that they try to tell it from a primary source standpoint to enlighten people, and then people can use you like as a witness to say, okay, this is how reality works because someone like you witnessed this. So go ahead, talk all you want.
Okay, yes. So I'll just start from the beginning. So 2014, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. For that whole year, I did what my doctor said. My doctor said, take your medicine, which was 3 injections a day, and bake your food, steady fry your meat. So that was what I did for a year. When the year came up, it was time for my checkup, and I had 3 new lesions on my brain. I did everything they said, and it never worked. So before now, I used to drive a dump truck. So I used to listen to videos in a dump truck, more conscious, spiritual videos, trying to reach the enlightenment stage, the fifth dimension. So I asked myself and kept asking myself, how do I get rid of this? I know there's a way to get rid of this. And if we all take the time and ask ourselves what we need to do in life, we'll all hear that little voice that will always guide us the right direction. And that's our double, and or your higher self. Your double is the one that's running around being in every multi-dimension at one time. So I'm just driving around, listening to videos, and this Dr. Savy video came on, and he was just talking about how our food messes with the cells in our bodies, creating dis-ease. I call it dis-ease cancer, diabetes, STDs, things like that, and how our food is the main cause of this. So from that point, for the last 2 days while I'm riding my truck, every video I could find, I listened to this man, Dr. Savy, to see what he had to say about alkaline food. So I started doing alkaline food. I decided to do a detox, a 30-day detox. And on this 30-day detox, I only blended my fruits or vegetables, and this is how you will transition into a alkaline-based lifestyle. So I took on the alkaline-based lifestyle, and I did this for 30 days. And within this 30 days, a lot happened to me. And the main thing was consciousness. I became more in tune with myself. I start to understand that this thing that they call life is all part of a matrix. It's all a lie. It's all a facade. And some of you may know what I'm talking about, but the ones don't. And what I mean by that is that there's something bigger to life. And what's bigger to life is not being obese, not having diabetes, high blood pressure, candide, hair loss, stress, bipolar. None of these things are supposed to be what's happening. And a lot of us don't understand. A big part of these things are our food we eat. Our food are loaded with chemicals and poison. And also, we have to realize our mind creates our reality. We can literally make ourselves sick, and we can literally heal the body within days just by using our mind. Andrew, you still there?
Yes, I'm on mute, just like I always am when my people talk, so you'll be hearing me as you're speaking. Yeah.
Mhm. So that's pretty much, my intro.
Yes, interesting experience, and I must say, you kind of make me look stupid. I say that I eat 3 pizzas, and then I got someone who's talking about health coming on my show, saying we got to be healthy, we got to eat right, and all that. I sure made a fool of myself hosting this show with you today. But let's forget about that. There's more important things to discuss, more important
Right.
things to enlighten people with. So, one thing I definitely want to give you the opportunity to do while I'm being a guest on this show is to use this opportunity to give a sales pitch to the stuff that you sell on your site, but of course keep it educational. Give us the science behind the things from a biological and physical and a spiritual, most importantly spiritual, metaphysical perspective. We got 2 hours to kill, so let's go one by one here and talk about what each of these products can do for you in great detail. Irish sea mass. Well, we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone here, because there's sea mass, 32 ounce for $33, and then for $38 you have Irish sea mass, tamarind and other herbs mixed for detoxing. Okay, so you got the sea mass mixed with other things in one, which is slightly more expensive. So what is it about sea mass? What does it do with who, what, when, where, why of that, and also the who, what, when, where, why, and how of all the other things that are mixed in this bottle that I see here that's labeled Irish sea mass?
Right. What you're talking about on the website, which is divinenaturalherbs.com, it's called Irish sea moss. And pretty much Irish sea moss is moss that comes from the ocean. And it has minerals. We have to remember our body is not a multivitamin. Our body is made of iron, zinc, phosphate, things like that. And that's what we have to keep in our body. And this is why it's very important to be on more of a plant-based lifestyle than anything, because we don't get enough minerals. So the Irish moss has 92 out of 102 minerals that the body is made of and needs. So this is going to be good for your teeth, your blood, your heart, your bones. It's going to be good for sunburn, your skin, just getting the mucus out the body. Because one thing we always have to remember, disease comes from the mucus in the body. So the Irish sea moss is that price. And the Irish sea moss tamarind is another price, because it has tamarind juice in it. Tamarind in it, and tamarind is pretty much a fruit from the islands, and that pretty much is high in fiber. What people don't understand is that we don't need to overload on protein. They tell us to eat a lot of protein because they want you to redirect yourself to meat. and that's the worst thing you could do for the body is overload it with meat or put meat in it at all. So the tamarind's high in fiber, and what we need more fiber is to go to the bathroom. We have to poop. If we don't poop, we really become toxic people, or our body and our blood is foul because we have so much waste held in the intestines and the colon. So that's why that one's mixed with tamarind. A lot of people don't like to poop because it's embarrassing for whatever reason that we think it is, but we have to poop. So the sea moss has the tamarind in it. So those two different.
Thank you. I'm jotting down a few notes here as you speak for things to discuss after we go through your products and the science behind how they work. So let's move on to the next thing. Yeah, it is sea moss, not sea mass. That's my bad for mispronouncing it there. The next product, Zeba Pique. Did I pronounce that properly? 32 ounce. It looks like some sort of a fuzzy yellow flower with large green leaves. What does that do for you? How does it work? Why should people buy it?
Yes, Zeba Pique. Zeba Pique is a blood purifier. I use this to help people with detoxing the body also. But this one is very, very potent. This one purifies the blood. We have to remember our blood just circulates all through every vein, organ, ventricle, everything in the body. Our blood just passes and passes. And once we keep poisoning it, it just becomes foul blood. And it keeps making our body stay in that state where it's just our body's just foul. We can't get it together. We don't have any energy. We just have these negative thoughts because the blood. Remember, the blood is the spirit. So you have to keep the spirit good to keep the blood good, and vice versa. So the Zeba Pique does that. It purifies the blood. And Zeba Pique is a tree that is native in Caribbean islands, and it's pretty much a leaf they pick off, and you steep from it. And it's very disgusting, very bitter, but it's going to get the job done. And that's a 7-day detox that everyone should take before they become a vegan, transition into vegan, or anybody that has to clean up their urine for whatever reason. So this actually purifies the blood. And I use this for people that have, the common cold is a blood cleanser, like I said. It detoxes the colon. It's good for parasites. It's good for cancer patients, diabetes, high blood pressure. And this comes in my package also because you have to purify the blood before you do anything, or you're just doing the hard way. Herbs help you get to your point faster with just healthy foods involved. So that's Zeba Pique.
Thank you. Now moving on to some other things. I see you have several different tea products. We'll just cover each one, I guess. Blue Vervain herbal tea bags. Well, actually, it looks more purplish violet colored than it does blue. But then again, there's the poem "Roses are red, violets are blue," which kind of doesn't really make sense because you think violets would be violet. But anyhow, I'm digressing. Blue Vervain herbal tea bags. They are actually sold out at the moment, it says, but I'm sure you'll be getting more soon. What is this? How does it work? Give us the science, and why should people buy it?
Yes, the Blue Vervain sold out for now. This is great for people with MS. So when my video went viral about having multiple sclerosis, and me, putting my video out there right here in Philadelphia, showing that I have no more lesions on my brain, saying I reversed my disease, that sold out because that's one of the major things I used for the MS was the Blue Vervain. Blue Vervain is good for detoxing also, especially with the nervous system. That's what Blue Vervain is good for. So anyone with MS, lupus, Parkinson, anything like that, anything dealing with the nervous system, you definitely want to, look into using Blue Vervain. You want to look at that because it rids parasites in the intestines. It's great for women with hormone issues where the menstruals are so painful every month that you have no energy. So that's good for anxiety. This is good for stress because that's all part of the nervous system. This is good for, chest digestion, diuretic, flushing. If you're having that problem with that, there's no need for water pills and when you can take something natural. So that's what Blue Vervain is.
Thank you. Moving on here, I'm seeing something that sort of looks a little bit like is that a part of the product, the thing that looks like cinnamon sticks there? The boy spondy. whatever that is.
Oh,
Yeah, and
yes, but
when you go over it, it appears in a little vial of something that looks sort of orangish brownish colored. So yeah, what's the science behind that? Why should people buy it?
yes, that's Boise Bandi, and Boise Bandi bark is actually, tree bark that comes from a tree, and that's also a blood purifier. And it's good for, men, especially with the pancreas. I'm sorry. That's good for the men, especially with the pancreas ejaculation problems and, those type issues because it purifies that area. Now, it's in that little vial because it's my fun potion. But if I was dealing with someone or a woman that, was trying to conceive, I would use bigger amounts of that. If I was dealing with someone that had pancreatic cancer, I will use bigger things for that. But the one on the website is for fun. So it pretty much makes the man go longer. It pretty much makes the man go stronger and longer especially because it's a blood purifier. So it's going down there. So you would take it 2 hours before action, I tell people. And you'll just take the whole vial. And a woman can take it also, and that will heighten her orgasms and pretty much make her more functional with her mate. So that's the Bondi.
Okay, this next product here sort of looks like a fruit of some sort. But if you go over the picture, it shows some leaves. The Soursop herbal tea leaves, and you have the words 10 leaves in parentheses. So I guess it's a pack of 10 that comes with it. Well, you have if the fruit on one side, but you have the leaves on the other. What's the significance of that? I mean, is the fruit part edible, or if it is, what is it any different in regards to what it does than the leaves? So the Soursop herbal tea leaves. Science behind that. Why should people buy it?
Yes, the soursop is the leaves. So we sell the leaves because the fruit is great to have in the islands. The thing is, to get those here, you're paying a good penny for them. So that would just be something personally you can enjoy. This is my main thing. We don't have it in leaves anymore. We ended up putting in tea bag form like the other teas, and that comes with a 15 count, and that's your 30-day supplies. All these natural herbs you can use twice. So it's not like your regular store-bought herbs you only can use, tea bags you only use once. You can use twice. And this is pretty much my cancer thing. And soursop is something that went big recently where they're finding the studies that help build the healthy white blood cells. So this is why soursop is very amazing, and it goes really, really fast, and everybody wants it because it helps with cancer. Cancer, with chemo, they have to kill all the cells. So this helps build the healthy white blood cells. This is good for treating the gout if you have back pain and things like that. The soursop tea will be a big help for that. This will help with bacteria, varicose veins, stabilizing the blood sugar, things just like that. So it's a tea that pretty much, like all of them, are detoxifying and going to serve the body great purpose.
Hmm.
And that's the soursop leaf.
Thank you. The stinging nettle herbal tea bags is the next one. A lot of tea here. Seem to be. Well, first of all, before I give you the chance to talk about this one, are all of these caffeinated teas? And if so, do you when you sell them, do you have a little notice like on the label saying this tea contains this many milligrams of caffeine per dose, or all these by some chance decaffeinated teas, the ones that you sell?
Yes, all of these are natural herbs. These are herbs that actually come from the ground, so no, they're not caffeinated. But they're all are purifiers, and they all pretty much give the body the minerals it needs. So you're going to get a natural high. You're going to get a natural boost without having to buy anything, but just have your tea during the day on your way out the door and your tea at night before you go to sleep. So, yeah, these teas will do everything for you. You'll lose weight with these teas. You'll lose negativity. You'll just grow so much spiritually because you're becoming more nice. You're becoming more in tune. So, yeah, these teas are all natural.
Thank you for clearing that up. And the stinging nettle herbal tea bags in particular, anything about them that makes them unique compared to the other ones that you sell?
Yeah, the stinging nettle. What I do a lady told me she uses for her tea, and she takes them out, and you could cook with them also, the herbs. With the stinging nettle. Stinging nettle is another important one because it has a lot of minerals, and it's especially good for, it has the boron, the calcium in it. So we all know milk does not do anything for the bones. It does nothing for the body. So you want to do what you need for the body, and the stinging nettle will do that for the bones. It's good for fatigue, anemia, the digestive system, and the lymphatic system. This is really, really good, and this is also tea bags, and it comes with 15 and a satchel, and that's your 30-day supplies. And that's the stinging nettle.
Thank you. Moving on to the wormwood herbal tea bags. Now, a notable thing about wormwood, I believe, if I remember correctly, if my understanding is right, that wormwood is the thing that makes absinthe unique. Absinthe is alcohol mixed with wormwood, and it doesn't get you drunk or high in the same way that just plain alcohol that you would find in wine, beer, champagne, or spirits, or that does. It's different, and the wormwood is what does it. I've even heard of people artists who do art and even construct their artistic things, build things, if you will, while under the influence of absinthe. And you think, well, that's insane. Why would you do that while under the influence of alcohol? Well, if you mix it with wormwood, there is a notable difference. But I mean, I'm assuming that's kind of different than from what you intend to use wormwood for. So, well, I mean, if you know anything about the science behind how that works and how absinthe is different from an alcoholic drink that has no wormwood in it, then by all means enlighten us on that. But I guess you're the expert on wormwood herbal tea bags and what they do for you. So what's this science behind it? Why should you buy it?
Okay, so the wormwood also is a 15-count tea bag satchel, your 30-day supply. Now, great question, great everything. Wormwood is a sedative. Wormwood is good for pain. Wormwood is good for all these things, digestive, poor circulation, joints, and everything. So wormwood is my happy pill or my happy tea bag. Now, what you're mentioning, yes, you can make tinctures out of wormwood, and they will have you really nice and woozy because this is the herb. This is a natural herb that grows, and it pretty much puts you in a calm state. So the difference in beer, some of them or some alcohol has no wormwood. So those are the ones that are pretty much hard liquor or that gut-wrenching beer. And what they balance it out with wormwood, so you're having that like I'm floating, that high feel, unless you're angry drunk or something like that or belligerent one. But it's supposed to give you that, okay. So that's what the wormwood does with those kind of things. But everybody's body is different. So that's why everybody has different experiences with alcohol. And don't forget, alcohol goes directly into the bloodstream. So this is why when people drink, they get crazy or they get some type of way out of character because now you're poisoning the blood. When you poison the blood, it's called wine and spirits. You're allowing spirits into your body because you're vibrating at very, very low vibrations. So you're opening yourself for entities, bad spirits to come in, and this is why you see the people that tear up the club or shoot up the place and they're drunk or high because they have poisoned their blood to a very high toxic place, bringing down the vibrations of the body, allowing evil entities into the body. And that's wormwood.
Thank you. One more product here, and then I'll get on to these questions that I came up with listening to what you had to say about this. The Yellow Dock herbal tea bags, pretty cool looking flower here, yellowish color with leaves that sort of look like tobacco leaves, but it's obviously not tobacco. So a Yellow Dock herbal tea bag is the science behind this, and why should you buy it? And it's sold out too, but hopefully that'll change soon. So go ahead.
Yes, the Yellow Dock. It went faster than I was prepared for it when I posted, when I posted it earlier this month. But it detoxes the liver, so it's great for the liver. It's great for the hormones. Everybody these days, with you eating so much meat and you're eating so much poisons, the hormones of men and women are off. You know, you see him pretty much the men and women switching roles with the clothes. You know, men's jeans are tighter than the women's jeans now, and things like that. So the hormones are off. So the yellow dock helps with that, balancing the hormones. It's good for the skin. It's good for, you know, if you have itchy throat, anything like that, or if you just have constant diarrhea, and I believe for bowel dumping, you know, things of that nature, you'll take the yellow dock, and that's also 15 count of those and your 30-day supply. And once again, these bags can be used twice, good in the morning and in the evening. You can take them at any time. And that's the yellow dock.
Okay, thank you. Hope that inspires some people to consider going to your divinenaturalherbs.com site and purchasing a few of these things. If not regularly, at least try to experiment for it to see if maybe and compare and contrast with some of the other things you bought on some other sites that sell things like you do, and maybe increase the competition with you and see who's got the best product. Well, that's what capitalism's all about. So just inspiring people to do it. Yep.
If I could just add this, yes. Everyone, check your products, because there's a lot of people that sell real things and fake things. If you guys want to follow me on social media, Facebook, Tina Ford, Instagram, Divine Natural Herbs 8. I'll be putting up a video today how I ordered sea moss. Everyone's like, oh, sea moss, sea moss, sea moss. But they don't realize this sea moss is fake. This sea moss is not real. And I want to show you guys the difference between sea moss. And I wish you could smell, because just the smell offhand will show you a difference. Most sea moss that you're getting is grown in saltwater pools and not in the ocean. So you guys want to get your stuff in a reputable places. I don't want to name names, but you just have to be careful from these big brands. Remember, these big brands and these pharmaceuticals, they're all one. They all work for that business to keep us dumbed down and sick. So just be careful where you get your herbs from, and make sure your herbalist, make sure whoever you're following, they practice what they preach. They look like their products. Because if you cannot say you are alkaline vegan and you're out of weight, you're out of shape. You can't say you're alkaline vegan or you live a healthy lifestyle and your skin is full of acne and things, because these things do not go with a clean body. So that's for that.
Cool, fair enough. And but regarding what you should eat and what you should not eat, let's go on to my questions here. Well, it's pretty clear that you're obviously not in the want to eat meat category. And I presume you're also not in the want to eat fish category. A lot of debate as to whether fish and meat are the same thing. I don't see how fish cannot be considered meat, because it's the muscle product of the fish. So why some people don't consider that meat is beyond me. But in regards to I think that over the course of the near future, people on planet Earth will definitely be eating less and less meat. It has to do with the rise in vibrational frequency of the Earth, and people just don't have the urge to eat as much meat. Do I still eat meat? Yes. Anybody who listens to my show has heard me say that I would be very, very lucky, and it would be hard pressed to believe that I could ever become a true vegetarian, although I do expect my meat-eating habits to keep going down over the course of time and get closer and closer and closer to zero, like that graph in math that you call a hyperbola, that gets closer and closer to zero but never reaches zero. That's what I expect my meat-eating habits to do, but whether I will be able to quit entirely, I really don't know. I don't know if I see that happening. But however, certain meats are better than others, and consequently worse than others. Santos Bonacci, a lot of people give him a lot of flack for the whole flat earth thing and think he's lost his marbles for that, but there's some other things that he discusses that are quite interesting. He's talked about how fish, he actually thinks, and not red meat, is perhaps the worst meat you can have. He talked about how the ancient Egyptians believe that fish actually came from another dimension, that water that they lived in is, for all intents and purposes, another dimension, and eating it is not in your best interest for that reason alone. And so he said the ancient Egyptians never ate fish, and like processed food is by far the worst. Processed meats, consequently, is the ultra worst. But then again, there are people who will assert that if you stop eating meat, you're gonna have health problems. I mean, I don't really know if this not eating meat caused it, but I recently lost a friend who became a vegan. I mean, he didn't ditch me as a friend because I decided not to become a vegan, as you might expect. No. I ditched him as a friend because he wasn't very nice. I saw him for the first time in several months. And then when I talked to him about whatever, he seemed to always be interested in disagreeing with me and starting getting all buddy about everything and thinking that anybody who eats animal products is a sinner no matter what. So this was like the pink elephant in the room. It's interesting. My horoscope, I remember for that day, said there's a pink elephant in the room. You will notice it. And I think the pink elephant in the room was the fact that this guy can't be friends with me anymore because his veganism has turned him into such an asshole. So I eventually ditched him, unfortunately. And I don't know, maybe the lack of nutrients that you find in meat and non-meat animal products may have been a shock to his system and all, and been a lack of.
No,
Okay, what do you think?
Yes, you had a great things. Just pinpoint some things. One thing that I want to touch on is the ancient Egyptians. Now, it depends on what part of the civilization you're talking about, because ancient Egypt go back to way more than the pyramids and what they're finding in the pyramids. There were civilizations way before them. Those were the new ancients. So there's studies out there said some of them ate meat, because some of those are the ones that pretty much gave up spirituality, stopped following the way. They became more of an egoistic day and age. So you have different stages of civilization in Egypt. So that's I just want to touch on that. Now, eating meat, no matter what type of meat it is all bad for the system, because our body, our teeth, is not made to eat any meat. And fish, it bleeds. It has a spirit. Anything that bleeds has a spirit. So the animals, the pigs, the cows, the chickens, the turkeys, they all bleed. So they all have a spirit, meaning they think like us, they breathe like us, and they are us in so many ways. We're all connected. It's all energy. So fish is the same. We think it's different because it swims in the water. It's no different. Everything serves a purpose on this earth, just like shrimp, clams, and things like that. So fish is meat. So any meat in the body is no good because it makes the blood toxic. It makes the mind toxic. It makes the spirit toxic. It makes everything bad. So we all know the stomach is a soft tissue. So some people's soft tissue sticks out further than others. That's your intestines full of poop. That's all that is. And this is where the disease come in. This is where the mind becomes stressed, overthinking, depressed, anxiety. This is where all that comes from, because you have so much waste in your system and it's building up mucus in the body. So this is why I say dis-ease. So meat is a no-no. And just think about it. You will never hear fishermen say, oh, when I caught the fish smelled like this, the fish smelled like that. No, there's not an odor the way we get it and the way when we put it in a pot. This is because when the fish dies, of course, the blood, the oxygen leaves the blood. So it's dead. So now this fish is a corpse. Time you get it to your kitchen, it's a corpse. It's a rotten corpse. So this is why fish, when you eat it automatically, it's going to rot in the stomach automatically. So, and a lot of people say, oh, I need my omegas. No, you don't need your omegas, because where do the fish get their omegas from? The plant. Just eat veggies. That's it. Get it from the plant. Get it from the same source they get it from. So that's the thing about meat. And you were saying how your friend pretty much turned into an asshole. And when you become vegan and when you detox and then you become a vegan, food changes your mind, body, and spirit. And food changes all these things because it's grown from the earth. So it's coming from Mother Nature. We all know Mother Nature has great vibrations. Mother Nature is information. This is why the animal, the wilds, eat from her. This is why we survive off of Mother Nature. It comes from her. If it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be here, because this is who she is, Mother. She nurtures us. You can live off the land off of her, and this is why we're not supposed to eat the other animals and things, because that's her creation. Who are we to say they don't deserve to live? Okay. So the food starts to feed the body. And as you know, with you sun gazing, it feeds the body. Sun gazing helps, the sun period on the body gives it information. This is why if you sweat, never wipe it off, because that's the information the sun, water is vibration. Water holds energy. So the sun is giving that water that's coming out of your body energy, and you let it seep back in, because that's feeding you information. And I don't read these things from books. I read this from meditation. I get this from meditation. I get this from natural elements, because when you become more enlightened and when you start eating more and more natural foods that actually feed the body, you just know things and you start looking at things different. So when you become a vegan, you become a know-it-all, because you do start to know it all. You start looking at things for what it is. You start knowing that your TV is poisoning your mind. You start to understand meat should not be in this vessel because I love me too much. To each his own. But I have to be factual and I have to be real. I didn't take the interview to be fake and blow smoke up anyone's ass. So this is why when people become vegan, they have to separate from old friends and family members, because you start thinking different. You start doing different. You start knowing better. So you no longer have interest in these people anymore. Relationships I had with friends, we didn't stop talking or anything because of a beef or anything. I had to start growing. And what we used to love together, I don't love anymore. So we have nothing in common. So you separate from these people. And we want you in our life, but we just don't know how to bring ourselves back to a certain level of ignorance. And that's all that is.
Thank you. And moving on to some other animal products that are not meat because they're not, the muscle of the animal. Well, first let's talk about eggs. Not just chicken eggs, but there's other type of egg, bird eggs, and some people even eat turtle eggs, as a matter of fact. Reptile eggs and such could also be in the same class. Eggs are a little bit of an anomaly. Some people have classified them as dairy on the basis that it's like the female part of
embryo,
of the bird. Yeah, so you could consider that a dairy, like milk, female, eggs, female, dairy. But others say no, they should be classed dairy strictly like a cow thing or a goat thing. You should think of eggs as more of a meat product. Well, but eggs are not the muscle of an animal, so how could they be meat? It's kind of makes probably more sense to put them in their own class. Now, a lot of controversy about the whole cholesterol issue. Now, people like Joel Wallach who's a naturopathic doctor who looks great for his age. He's in his mid-70s, or even probably late 70s now, and doesn't even look a thing like it. He eats like 6 eggs a day, and he asserts that all that stuff about eggs potentially causing strokes and heart attacks is bullcrap, because he asserts that 100% of the cholesterol in eggs is HDL, good cholesterol. There is no bad cholesterol in eggs, so the idea that they would cause strokes and heart attacks is ridiculous, and he asserts that it's one of the best things for people with Alzheimer's and dementia to eat, because people with Alzheimer's and dementia, their brain cells aren't dying, they're just losing the function of their brains because the cholesterol that allows for the electric flow in the brain. Well, I hear you chuckling, I'll ask you why in a minute, but anyhow, the flow of stuff through the brain is shut down. That's mostly cholesterol, and eating the eggs in great amounts is supposed to help with that. And he also says that the yolk of an egg is loaded with nutrients. It's like its own multivitamin in and of itself. And egg white, as far as bodybuilders are concerned, egg protein is the best protein. It has been asserted for building muscle, even better than lean meat protein. So some people even drink egg protein juice. It doesn't taste really good, some people say, but they say it's worth it for building muscle. So hearing all this stuff about eggs that paints it in a good light, and yet I've even had at least one guest who said eating more eggs increases your chance of death. Didn't really elaborate on that, but she asserted that is true. Well, it runs counter to what all the naturopaths and some of the other people have said. So eggs, to eat or not to eat, bad or not bad, controversy, do you know anything about it?
Yes, eggs are bad. Do not eat eggs. I say this because, once again, it's coming from an animal. So let's just go on the fact that you don't want nobody eating your afterbirth, or you don't want no one eating your abortion, And this is something that is happening poorly. This is not something that's happening naturally. This is not what Mother Earth put here for people to indulge in. That's not it. So now he says eggs. He says eggs pretty much give us all this protein and things we need. Okay, let me just say this. How do I want to say this? We're so quick to take care of our cars on the outside. We're mad when we get scratches, dings, the wax come off. We want to keep our tires and stuff looking good. But if you look in our backseat, it's junky as hell. If you look in our trunk, it's junky as hell. Just because someone looks good on the outside does not mean their body's good on the inside. Does not mean their body's good on the inside. Now, if he says eating eggs and all that stuff is good, then why are these people that eat eggs all their life still end up with heart disease? If it's supposed to stop these things, it's just common sense. That makes no sense that something from an animal will feed a body that's natural. And he said multivitamin. That was his biggest mistake. We're not multivitamins. We're minerals. It is proven that the body is made up of minerals. We have vitamins. We're minerals and vitamins, but not a multivitamin that has been created in a lab. So that is not accurate either. Now, the vitamins that we do need come from the fruits, the kale, the onions, the peppers, the mushrooms, the ginger, things like that. It does not come from a multivitamin that someone has created in the lab. Nothing anyone creates in a lab is good for a natural body. A natural body needs natural resources, things that grow naturally on their own. That's what a natural body needs. So his point of saying that means nothing. And just because his vessel looks good, that means nothing. He's probably the meanest, nastiest person in the world because he has all this toxins building up, if we knew him personally. So that means nothing. So eggs are bad. I would tell people stay away from eggs, get away from dairy. It doesn't even matter what category they put them in because you should not eat anything from an animal. Once again, the body is natural. You have to eat what the body is. Our body is alkaline. Our body's like a battery. When the battery dies, you jump it with cables. When the body starts to die, you jump it with cables. You sure don't go get any eggs to throw on it or drink because the body is alkaline. You have to keep the body in an alkaline state. Now, we all see these bodybuilders or people lifting weights, and they look like they have muscles over fat, and that's because what they have. They're still eating too much protein because they think they need it. So they're like these fat muscle people. So you just can't, just because you work out and still eat like a trash man, it's never going to work. You're going to have that fat body with muscles. So you're building mass on top of fat. So you're still prone to have a heart attack. You're still prone to have cancer, diabetes, all these things. Because you're not cleaning up the body. You're feeding it poison every day. Protein, you get that in one serving of your fruit. Your fruit or vegetables. That's all you need for the day. Focus on fiber. Go to the bathroom. Clean that colon out. Clean them intestines. And there you go.
Okay, I'll get back to that fiber thing in a moment. But as far as dairy is concerned, yeah, it's been coming out recently that milk is not all it's cracked up to be. It doesn't do a body good, as the commercials would lead us to believe. In fact, they suggest that it's better to get your calcium and vitamin D from the vitamin D from the sun and calcium from leafy green vegetables is said to be the best way. But and they say, well, think about it. We're like the only animal that drinks milk from, well, first of all, breastfeeding humans, so that we drink our own milk. But when we get older, we stop doing that, and we drink cow's milk and goat's milk, and in some cases, camel's milk. And we're like the only animal that would consume the milk of another animal. And it's some say,
That's crazy.
Well, okay, but in regards to why doesn't the calcium and the vitamin D in milk do any good for your bones? One would think that when you consume that, the body would have some mechanism to allow for the nutrients in the milk to get absorbed in such a way to be able to form better bones and such, and allow the vitamin D to transport the calcium and all that. But in the video, and it was a while back when I saw this video, it was on the Event is Coming Soon YouTube channel where they did this special new video about a couple months ago about how milk is not so healthy, cracked up as we're led to believe it is, and they talked about how this it's a misconception that milk is good for the bones. Well, why is that? Why doesn't the body have some sort of a mechanism that would allow for all the nutrients, in particular the calcium and vitamin D in the milk, to leave the milk and get transported to the bones as needed? Why is that?
Well, when the body needs balance. Everything's balanced. This is where yin and yang, up and down, left and right, above, so above, so below. This is where all these things come from. Everything has balance. So just going back to the doctor, he could eat all the eggs he wants, but if he knows balance, it will work for him. It still don't make it. It makes no sense to disease the body, then fix the body. So everything is balanced. I could go on a binge and eat for a week if I choose to. And the next week, fast for a week, it's all balanced. My body will go back to alkaline. So once you get the body back to an alkaline state, the body can heal, repair, and fix itself. So the body will stay healthy on its own. Now, you're getting some nutriments from the multivitamins and the milk and stuff. Some, very little. You're just getting enough just to, do what you have to do. But you have to remember, you have you can get these things, but you have so much other chemicals, enzymes that comes from these things that poison the body, so you're not getting much from the vitamin D and things like that. And vitamin D is, you have to go to Mother Nature. And then, like, I made a post the other day on my Facebook talking about we wash too much. We use too many chemicals on our skin. We're not supposed to scrub our skin every day. That's how we get our vitamin D. It's through the sun. So therefore, if you have dark skin, this is why you see in those ancient pictures where their hands are held up to the sun, because your palms are made light for a reason, and the bottom of your feet is made light for a reason. That's how you get your vitamin D, holding them up to the sun. This is how you get it. And then you're supposed to get out in the sun more to get more vitamin D. But then we put suntan lotion on, more chemicals to block what they do. The agenda is to keep you away from natural things. So you're going outside to get a natural thing, but then you'll put a chemical on your body to prevent that natural thing, or to clog the pores so you're not sweating the toxins out, or you're not taking the information from the sun into the body. So we fall into these agendas because we don't realize what we are doing. So you will get some things from milk, but you get more unnecessary things than needed. You'll get more mucus in the body. That's the main thing. You want to keep the mucus out the body. Keep the mucus out the body, you have a healthy body. Stop adding mucus. So stop the cheese, stop the eggs, stop the, the yogurts. Women, just take note. You eat a yogurt, all of a sudden, you have a discharge. Why is that? You have to look at, that's the bacteria you just put in there. I don't care if they say healthy yeast, nutritional yeast. It don't matter. Stop putting it in your body because it's creating mucus. It's creating toxins in the body. Now, was it another part of that question that I missed, or that was pretty much it?
Well, I kind of wanted to know, does the body have a mechanism by which to transport the calcium and the vitamin D from the milk to the bones as needed? And if the answer is yes, then, is there something that prevents that the milk also has that prevents that from happening? Because I remember the video that I saw on the Event is Coming Soon YouTube channel did actually suggest that, contrary to what we're led to believe, milk can actually increase the potential for bone fractures. And I'm thinking, well, that must mean that something is in the milk, or that prevents the calcium and the vitamin D in the milk from adequately being transported to the places in your body, and in particular your bones, where it's needed. So what's the science behind that? How does it work? And what have we been not told that they, contrary to what we've been told our whole lives about milk in that regard?
Well, milk, just like you said in the beginning, you could get all your vitamins, your D and all from your veggies. They didn't want to push that because that's something that grows natural. Everybody will go in their backyard and grow some kale. Everybody will go in the backyard and grow, their onions and peppers. So they had to push another agenda, which was the milk. And the milk, yes, the body breaks down everything. And this is what our urine is mainly, is extra minerals the body's expelling from the body. So this is how you're still getting some D, but this is how your deficiency is always down. With your vitamins, you're still getting some vitamins you need because the body takes what it needs and get rid of the rest through your poop. So you're getting what you need, but you're getting what you need to do the daily basic living. And that's for you to think that you have to be a slave to someone else's 9 to 5. That's for you thinking that traffic jams is something that you're supposed to get upset about and cuss about. All these things have you off because your body is taking those minerals, like people with hair loss or a little bit of with soft nails and things like that. This is why they have these things, because your body needs those minerals to make your body function to do what it needs to do today. So other areas of your life start to fail, and that's how disease come on, because your body was using so much of something else to make this run properly, that heart. Because just think about it. If we forget to breathe or if we forget to make our heartbeat on time and everything, we'd be dead. So our body has to function on its own. So that's why I said when you bring the body to its alkaline state, it will fix, heal, and repair itself regardless. This is why it's very important to become more of an alkaline vegan. And no soy, no dairy, no meat, none of that, those things, because you want it to be alkaline. You want the body to do everything it needs to do on its own. So therefore, you can focus on becoming enlightened, for you can focus on becoming more conscious, for you can be focused on more love, giving more love, bringing up your vibration, so we can turn this planet, this world around to a better place, not this evil place it has become. We can't do this because our body doesn't have enough fuel in it, pretty much. We're always damn near on E. You go to work tired, you come home tired, and you do it over and over and over. And then you create so much debt, you pick up a second job or you're working your days off. So your body's only giving you what you're giving it. So you clean up the body, put more minerals in it, like sea moss and the stinging nettle, you'll have more function. And you'll see. If you guys visit me on social media, Tina Ford, on there, you'll see. I'm 190 pounds, but I do not look like a 190-pound starch, sugar, meat eater. And that's because my body is water. That's because my body is going into its natural state. And the natural state is you become trim, you become fit on its own. It looks like I exercise. The only exercise I do is walking through my car. And that's not a good thing, but when your body is in an alkaline state, it will fix, heal, and repair itself. So you need nothing else but fruits and vegetables.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and for those that are wondering, okay, if I'm not supposed to consume milk, cow milk, goat milk, or camel milk if I live in the desert, okay, then how am I supposed to eat cereal? Well, what kind of milks do you put? There's soy milk, but are there other milks besides soy milk, or other liquids for that matter, that people can eat cereal with, if not the milk that we're always used to putting in cereal?
Cereal, that's just one of those things you have to let go. Because soy milk is not good. Anything with soy is a chemical. That is something else that's been created in the lab. And some vegans give up one toxic aspect of life, which is meat and dairy, to take on more toxic, which is seitan, soy, and all those kind of things. These things are nothing that are natural about it. So they're toxifying the blood. This is why you have vegans that are out of weight. This is why you have vegans that do not look like vegans. And, they will guess you're more of a pork eater than a turkey and fish eater over anything. So cereal's a thing you have to give up unless you make your own milk, and you make your own milk from nuts. There's a whole bunch of people doing it on YouTube, and pretty much you're soaking your favorite kind of nuts. I would say walnut and Brazil nuts, because those are alkaline nuts. They serve the body. You soak them, and then you blend them in water. You add your own seasoning, or pretty much raw agave. Raw agave is a sweetener that comes from a natural plant. You add that to sweeten up the milk, and you make your batches of milk like that. You strain it through cheesecloth, and the liquid, that's your milk. Because we eat with our eyes. We eat with our eyes first. So if you make that nut milk sweet enough for you, you will believe, and you will, suffice with that enough. Trust me. So they have cereals out there online, like Kamut Puffs, and you add your cinnamon to it, or you add your raw agave to it. You add your own stuff to it. if you need a cereal. If you need a cereal. Me, I gave up cereal completely because nut milk, it's easy to make, but it's just hard to keep it around unless you really love milk. So I just gave up milk, period. So if I use milk in any recipe or something, I'll do coconut milk. Now you have to be careful of coconut milk in the grocery store because you have to read the ingredients. It's full of chemicals. So I do coconut milk in a can, and I usually get it from more of like a Whole Foods when I use it. And it's not really good because it's a can, but I use it. And you just want to make sure it just says coconut milk and water. So you just read your ingredients because the one in the grocery store and the refrigerator section is full of chemicals. So you don't just give up cereal. You don't really need milk.
Thank you. On one issue that you may have raised some eyebrows of, you say we should eat nothing from an animal. Okay, well, does that mean that a mother that breastfeeds her child is basically allowing her child to be a cannibal for all intents and purposes? I mean, the child is not eating meat, but if it's consuming breast milk, it is getting something from an animal, its own mother's milk. So this runs counter to everything every good mother's ever been taught. Any good mother that breastfeeds her kids thinks she's doing the greatest thing any mother could ever do, but now you're seeming to contradict that. So breastfeeding a child, is that like an exception to the rule in regards to don't eat something from an animal?
Now, I don't know where you got the conception of if you eat the muscle, that means you're not a vegan from an animal. I don't know where that comes from. And I definitely don't know what you mean that we're animals. Humans are not animals. Humans are not even considered humans if we want to go deep on the spiritual aspect. This is a body. This is a vessel to hold our soul. So this is why the mind cannot live without the body cannot live without the mind. So we're not even considered humans. This is an English word that has been created and passed down to us to call us a human. Who says that this is what we are? Who said the Creator made us humans? We made that word. So we're definitely not animals. So a mother breastfeeding her child, that's a beautiful thing because the body on its own produced that milk. Some mothers don't produce milk long enough because their body is full of toxins. Blue Vervain is good for that. If you're trying to breastfeed, you should breastfeed as long as your breast provides the milk. If your breasts dry up before 3 months or even before then, that's a problem. Detox that body. Clean that body up. You are not supposed to stop feeding a baby that needs those minerals from your body. And this is why women have tough pregnancies, because you have to remember your body's being shared with a baby now. So if you're eating like trash, you have nothing to give. The body's going to give all the nutrients to try to make that baby survive. If the baby's not surviving at an early age or fall on, it's because you're not providing enough for you and that baby. So the body's going to abort that baby because it doesn't have enough nutrients in it. It doesn't have enough minerals in it. It has too much waste in it, too much toxins in it. So we are not animals. I don't know where that came from, who that come from. Tell them, sit down on that note, because we are not animals. There's nothing about us that says we're animals. Not our DNA, not our intelligence, not the way we function, none of that. We're all connected. We're all connected because it's all energy. But no. So yeah. You there? Andrea?
Oh, sorry. I was on mute. Mute and I didn't realize it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So since you mentioned this, I need to ask you, I hate to put you on the spot like this, but I need you to give a definition for what an animal is, because a lot of people are certainly raising their eyebrows and dropping their jaws hearing you say that humans can't be animals. Well, before I do that, though, a definition is of anything can be very controversial in some regards. I mean, it's a point of view issue in regards to what definitions are for certain things. Like, on a related note, let me give you the Wikipedia meaning of vegetable. It says here in everyday uses, vegetables are certain parts of plants that are consumed by humans as food as parts of a meal. Okay, well, by that definition, all fruits are vegetables, but something cannot be a fruit unless it's the female part of a plant. So that opens up a whole new can of worms. So people would say, okay, to say a human is not an animal, where are you making that assertion? Well, what classifies what makes something an animal? Who are you to say that your point of view is better than, or your definition is better than other people's? So I have to put you on the spot here because a lot of people are certainly going to raise eyebrows and drop jaws hearing you say humans are not animals. Where are you making that assertion?
I get that assertion from, okay, a fruit is a fruit, a vegetable is a vegetable. A fruit has a seed. So an avocado is considered a fruit. A lot of people will classify it as a vegetable, but it has a seed, so it's a fruit. Just like a banana, just like a peach, just like an apple, just like things like that. Animal, we identify lives in the wild. An animal does not have the DNA we have. This is why if you eat an animal, that animal will give you karma, and that's disease. That's a fat body. That's a diseased mind. That's a nasty, nasty body. The Bible said godliness is the whole cleanliness thing. That's because he's talking about not taking on the meat. That's not put here for us. They have their own journey. They have their own life. I don't know who came up with this animal thing, but this is the first time I ever heard that. And I would challenge anybody. We're not animals. We don't even have the same DNA as a deer, as a rabbit, as any of those things. So how are we considered animals? How do we live a different dimension than they are? They live on their own dimension. We're not even on the same vibrational level as them. If we were, our intelligence will be like theirs, but our intelligence isn't like theirs. So I don't know. I'm lost on that. This is the first time I'm hearing that. And I listen, if someone else has something, if you have another point, like a fact or something saying we're animals, I don't even see where that is even scientifically classified that we're animals. I don't get that one.
Well, when you're talking about the kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species, if you were to look at, for a human, the kingdom, Animalia, and there's also the plant kingdom and the fungus kingdom, among other things. So, and the protist kingdom. So that's, but then again, science is a religion, many would assert, the mainstream science that we have. So, one would say,
that's what they have taught. That's what they have taught us to think and want to think, because they don't want you to be awakened. They do not want you to be spiritual. They do not want you to be natural. So this is why animals never feared the ancients. They live amongst the wild. Nowadays, because we have hunted them, because we have become predators as humans, because we prey on each other. Look at people go to the bar. They preying on their girlfriend. They're preying on a man for a night. We become predators. This is why we're not in harmony with the animals anymore. This is why they fear us, because of the things we have done to them. We're not animals. You have people that have animalistic ways, yes, but we are not considered animals. If you want to justify yourself as that, fine. Because like I said, they don't even have the same DNA as us. It's just like you cannot call yourself black. I cannot call myself white because we don't have the same genes. We don't have the same DNA. So how will we call ourselves animals if we don't share the genotype or the DNA? Now, I would think that was just simple common sense. Not even the fact that we live on a different dimension on a material aspect than they do, because that means nothing. They live off the land, which is the way we're supposed to. They make laws to say that we can't walk around naked, but we can only ride naked on bikes when we say it's okay. So, yeah, that's all a part of the agenda. And if you think you're an animal, wow, I know what I am.
Well, I know what I am too. I am too. I am also infinite consciousness, having an experience. Well, then again, so is every animal in the world. Everything is infinite consciousness. So this is.
But you remember, there's different levels of consciousness.
Yes,
dimensions. Right. So this is why I don't understand why anybody will classify, as they say, humans as animals, because we will just be called animals. We were never been called humans.
Okay, a lot of arbitrary point of view things going on here, so people may agree to disagree if they please.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
One thing I want to talk about regarding your products that you talk about that help with blood. Does blood type matter? There's AB, O positive, O negative, positive, negative, other things. Also the RH factor when it comes to blood, a very popular issue that many gets into the whole extraterrestrial can of worms. The RH factor thing does. So does blood type matter when it comes to your products and other products that other people sell in regards to trying to help the blood in certain ways?
No, that doesn't matter. And blood are just classified in different ways for the government to identify who they need, who they want, in so many little ways. So it's just pretty much putting another tag on a body.
Well,
So
well,
yeah.
well, 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 wait a minute, wait a minute. They classify blood type in order to like classify people the way the government wants. Well, hold on. When you talk about donating blood to other people, you can't
Oh, that
give.
matters because you have to give what they need. That's why that's classified.
Well, what
But all that. Mhm.
don't you cause doesn't if someone who has A blood can't donate to someone who has B blood? I mean, if you're an O blood, you are a universal donor, but someone who has A or B blood or AB blood can't donate to someone who has O or well, I don't know. There's certain that
Right.
says you can't do that. So how can you say it's all government classification when, from a scientific standpoint, you can't donate blood to someone who's of a different blood type in certain or can you or can't you? Maybe we've been misled in some regard. What do you know about
No,
this?
no, no. This is, but it's always an agenda with depicting blood. You shouldn't even need to be touching people's blood. Your blood, once again, your blood is your spirit. Energy cannot be destroyed; it only can be transferred. So you should never give blood. That is your spirit, and you should never get a transfusion because you're taking on other people's spirit. Remember, spirit is the blood of anyone's body. So you should have whatever's put into your body is supposed to stay there. You destroyed it for it to have to come out, or you listened to them and didn't think that you could save it. But yeah, there's different types because now that the blood is coming out the body, you have to keep it with its type. That is correct. But it's always an agenda with the government. Certain blood types mean more. Just like you said, when you go on a conscious level, the government knows who's enlightened. The government knows who's a true God, who's going to be a leader and needs to be dumbed down. And shots forced on them to change that blood, to change that DNA. They always have an eye on you, especially if you're being born in a hospital. There's always an eye. It's always a seeing eye. And we know that. These movies tell us everything. So, yeah, it
But
needs to be classified for those things. Go ahead.
okay, well, you're talking about how you shouldn't donate blood. Many people would say, "What are you talking about? I've donated blood. I always thought I was doing a good thing." But you're saying, "Well, no, no, you're not because you're giving away your spirit." Well, I was doing a bad thing when I was in Bermuda a couple weeks ago when I accidentally cut my finger while cut my thumb while cutting a watermelon, and I'm like, oh damn, now this is going to be bleeding. And it took I tried to lick it, I tried to bandage it, and it still kept bleeding. And then I went out on my nature walk throughout the Bermuda golf course during the sunset after the golf course was closed. And then I thought, wait a minute, now's my opportunity to become a blood brother with nature. So what I did was I rubbed my thumb on a lot of the leaves and a lot of the trees around the golf course to become a blood brother, a spiritual blood brother, to use Native American phrases, with nature. Are you telling me that I was actually doing a bad thing when I was doing that?
No, 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 no. You're connected with nature. I'm talking about giving blood. Like you cut yourself, and it's not like you might have I don't know if people purposely do that, so I'm not going to even say that. But you cut yourself, and that was a good idea. Become one. Become one, because that's that tree. The tree has a spirit. The tree is living, so it has a spirit. This is why we connect with the trees, because it's all vibration. We're all connected. We're all her children. So no, I'm talking about you going to blood banks and you just giving blood and that kind of thing. You should never do that. What's put in your body is put in your body for a reason. If you have an accident, you have an accident.
Okay, so it's a different set of circumstances there with me rubbing my bloody finger on a tree in order to become a blood brother with nature than it is donating blood someone else, okay? If that's the way you want to describe it, fair enough, as the old cliche in radio goes. So, all right, moving on to something else. Something else on your site here. There was a grocery section on your site. It says coming soon. So why don't you give us a sneak peek about what that's going to be all about? And before you do that, I just want to elaborate a little bit on what kind of grocery shopping should or we shouldn't be doing. Now, me, I love Whole Foods. Whole Foods is, for all intents and purposes, the only place I shop. It's more expensive than other stores, but that's worth it because its food is supposed to be, emphasis on supposed to be, of the highest quality. There are some Whole Foods out there that have snuck in GMO foods when they're not supposed to, and the whole thing about Whole Foods being bought by Amazon has raised a lot of eyebrows, to say the least, because Amazon is considered to be a globalist front group, so God knows what Amazon's going to do to Whole Foods. But I think when it comes to stores to shop at, if you don't have a local farmer's market, then Whole Foods is about the best thing you can do. And when I go at Whole Foods, for all intents and purposes, there's only two things I buy: things that are on sale or 365 store brand. Whole Foods has its own store brand. That's 365. That's what it's called. And if not 365, stuff that is on sale. So a lot of the things that are organic, they're not on sale, and even if they are on sale, they're sometimes not even as cheap as the non-organic things that aren't on sale. Like when it comes to fruit that's organic and on sale, it may actually be like maybe 5 or 10 cents more expensive than the conventional fruit that's not organic, which is not on sale. But still, it's even though it's not organic, it's not supposed to be chemicals, pesticides, GMOs, or any of that bad stuff. So, okay, I still have reason to think I'm doing myself a service. Even if I'm not buying organic, as long as I stick with Whole Foods, I should be, in general, doing pretty good. But would some people who think, no, it's okay in your best interest to spend a little more money, always buy organic, no matter how much it costs. You're making a big mistake trying to save your wallet by only buying store brand and stuff that's on sale. Always go with organic. So, what do you have to say about this? Organic or not organic? And should you sacrifice the money or not? What's your take?
I'll come back to the organic or not organic. The website, yes, coming soon is going to be a market. What I'm finding out from my clients that are different parts in different states and things like that, Whole Foods is not accessible to them. Farmer market, things like that. So my market would pretty much have things like dates, tamarind, it was some spelt flour, just natural things, more fiber, more natural ingredients that are hard to get because they're not in a certain area for that. Now, with organic and natural, a lot of people think because something is labeled organic, it's better, it's healthier. No. Read your labels. You have to read the ingredients because there's a lot of organic cans, there's a lot of organic spaghetti sauces, there's a lot of organic coconut milk, there's a lot of organic chickpeas that have chemicals in it. And then you'll find store brands that have no chemicals. For instance, you go to Walmart, the $1.06 Walmart brand mushroom blend. It has mushroom vegetables and everything in there. It has all natural ingredients, things that we know how to pronounce, and it has no citric acid. Whether you pick up the Pregu, if you go to Whole Foods and look at the 360 brand, it has chemicals in it. So you want to stay natural as possible. So now, I only use Whole Foods for my grains, my spelt flour, my rye flour, my garbanzo bean flour, my spelt noodles. If I want to cheat and have a vegan cookie or something, I have that. Or I'll go for, if I'm cheating, I'll have a vegan slice of pizza with the vegan cheese on it. Or I'll have the falafels that's in their, little cold bar or whatever. Or I'll get some seaweed. Now, I'll do something like that, just trying to get it on a natural note and just a little cheat while I'm out. So always reading your ingredients. So I only get my grains and things from there because your regular ShopRite, your Giants, some Giants have it, some don't. So I get my produce from produce stands, there's one on Oxford for you guys that's in Philadelphia, Oxford Circle. You have the farmers markets in West Philly. You have the produce junction in West Philly, not too far from Brown's ShopRite, or I'll shop at ShopRite. Now, I don't get my fruits and vegetables from Walmart because you always notice you get something from there. It lasts you a day or two. There's something shady going on with that. So my squash shouldn't be all squashed up in 2 days, and it was just fresh a day ago. So even with Whole Foods, just because it's at Whole Foods doesn't mean it's good, because they sell watermelons with no seeds in it. That's not possible. How can you grow organic seedless watermelon? It's not possible. It has to have a seed. The oranges don't have the seed. How are these growing? The cuties don't have seeds. How are these growing? These are GMOs. These are being created. Those are things you want to stay away from. You want to stick with natural. You definitely want to stick with natural. So just because it comes from Whole Foods, do not make it right. And just because it's the 360 brand or the organic brand doesn't make it right. Definitely read your labels. Because you can have two the same items on the same shelf. One is $1 more or $1 less. Look at the back. Read your ingredients. You want the one that has the less chemicals in it, because that's what you're trying to do. Get away from these chemicals that's causing another chemical, that's giving a chemical reaction. So shop everywhere. When I tell people when they're turning to vegan, when they're doing their transition and they're fasting for 30 days, this is your chance to save up money for your grains. This is your chance to relearn your town. Learn where farmer markets are popping up at. Learn different areas of your city to know where the fresh farms are, because cities have them. And you make a day of it, and because when you start to eat natural, you just be naturally happy, and you'll be naturally grateful for natural things. So, yeah.
Thank you for touching on that. Yeah, Whole Foods, there are some things that sneak in there that Whole Foods says they don't sell, but they do sell, so you do have to be careful. But from what I've heard, it's probably maybe the best market to shop at in terms of from a health standpoint. One could debate that, but that's what I've researched anyway.
The best places to shop at is your Amish markets, your Amish
right.
communities.
That's a good point.
Those are the best places. Then, if you know someone that has a mom and pop, those people are more genuine with their product. It's just like when I do my meal plans. I do meal plans, and with my meal plans, I don't use anything I don't eat. So if it's not on the alkaline food list, I do not cook with it. I do not use it. It's just like you think olive oil is better. But no, grapeseed oil is natural. Grapeseed oil is lighter. Olive oil turns into a chemical once heated. If you don't know this lifestyle, you will not know that. Coconut oil is great to use, but not when it's heated. When you heat coconut oil, it becomes a chemical. Just think about it. If you brush your teeth and do oil pulling, they tell you not to sit it in the sink, because what it will do, it will harden back up in the sink. So you don't want to heat that. You don't want it to liquefy that and then allow it to drain, to harden back up like bacon grease. So you just have to know these things and just start looking outside the box, and always read your ingredients. Just like grapes. How do you have a seeded grape? When we were kids, our parents always said, be careful of the seeds in the grapes. You don't never have to tell your kids, your grandkids, or anybody that ever again, because they took natural grapes out, unless you're going to the farm where they're being grown naturally. Just like oranges, the only real orange is the Seville orange, and that still has a seed. The burro bananas, the small bananas, you cut them down the middle, you see the black seeds. Whole Foods sells regular bananas. Whole Foods sells regular grapes. That has no seeds. Whole Foods sells things that are labeled organic, but it has chemicals in it. Most organic things are, you didn't spray the top of it. But if you're fertilizing and you're putting chemicals into the soil, you just put chemicals into that vegetable or that fruit. So it's not organic unless it grows natural and wild. If you have to cultivate it and things like that, it's not natural.
Thank you. In regards to heating food up, that touches in on another issue that's a subject of much controversy in the food preparation business, the microwave. I do have a microwave, but I rarely ever use it. The only time I ever use it is if I have like a plate that like my dear sweet mama prepared and she had some leftovers, and she gives me a call and says, come to my house, Andrew, I got some leftover food I want to give you. And I mean, it was cold, so I heat it up, but I don't really heat it up for very long. I try it, even if it's a little on the cold side, that's okay, because my understanding of it is that when you heat it up in a microwave, it can destroy the nutrients. Um, but the controversy there is, okay, well, how long do you have to warm something up for, or does it depend on the food regarding how long warming up the microwave will destroy the nutrients to render them useless when you consume them? And also in regards to the radiation factor, I mean, they teach us in like ninth grade physics that microwaves are on the very, very low end of the electromagnetic spectrum. They're actually even lower than visible light. So getting visible light, getting bombarded with visible white light would actually cause cancer at a faster rate than microwaves, because as we taught and learned in ninth grade physics, microwaves are lower on the electromagnetic spectrum. The same thing is true with radio waves. Radio waves are even lower than microwaves. So the idea that radio waves give you cancer, well, bull crap. I say schools are good for brainwashing, but if what they say is true about the electromagnetic spectrum, going radio waves, microwaves, visible light, well, then infrared, then visible light, then ultraviolet, then that, and you could think of that as like the farther you go up on the spectrum, the more likely you are to get cancer when you get bombarded from this. Then, well, visible light doesn't give you cancer. Then it's ludicrous to think that microwaves are going to give you cancer. So if that's true, then for all intents and purposes, the only thing we should worry about with microwaves is that warming things up in it is going to destroy the nutrients. But maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe there's something here I'm not taking into account. So what other ways, if there are any, that microwaves are dangerous, and how, if you do use a microwave, what is the limit on how long the food should be warmed up?
Well, I stopped using microwaves a long time ago because I'm not sure how the waves and the cancer cells, cancer comes from, some people believe cancer cells are already in the body. That might be true, that might not be true. That's not my field. So that could be, I believe, if anything, it's just your food thrown off the body. It's too much mucus, and your body is all energy. Your body has its own tune inside. It has its own harmony inside. And once something is off harmony, things start breaking down because the harmony's off, just like life. When you're off harmony, you're off balance, your life just becomes, start becoming shambles. So the microwave, I don't use microwaves because I don't care how long you put it in there. You just zap your food with some radioactive waves. So now you're eating radioactive food. Not even the fact that it's killing the food. It's just, you just pretty much put radiation on your food. So I decided to get rid of that. Now, the wave spectrums and all that, that's something I choose not to indulge in. I just got rid of the microwave. So another alternative is a toaster oven. Put your plate in there. My stove has the warmer oven at the bottom, so I turn on the warmer and put the plate in there. Or you could just heat it up in your oven. Or if you could get it off in one piece, heat it up in a pot. And just do it that way. I know it takes more effort, and then a lot of people don't want to do that, especially if they're hungry. But it depends on, to each his own. I'd rather take those steps and do that and heat something up the right way than, to take a shortcut. But when you become alkaline vegan and you start eating your own food, because most places have chemicals in their food, because they're adding different things, preservatives and all those kind of things to their food, I have learned patience. So I know that I'm coming home to break my fast with some dates. So the dates that I eat are high in fiber, so it's going to hold me over until I finish cooking a 10-minute quick meal, 20 minutes tops. So I learned patience. I learned how to keep my water in the car, my distilled water in the car, and I learned how to keep dates in the car. So I learned how to do those things, and I even have my little own avocado kit in the car. So if I'm really, really, really hungry, I'm stopping somewhere, getting an avocado, open it up on my lap and season it and going in. So I learned how to have that patience where I will never resort on the microwave. It's here because it came with the plate. But if anything, I don't even open it. So yeah, no microwave.
Okay. I want to talk about well, you mentioned fasting, breaking fasts and all that. Breakfast, that's break a fast. You fasted for a while because you were sleeping at night, then you want to break it. Well, many people say there are benefits to fasting, and if you can fast for a long period of time, that's a sign that you have great self-discipline. Some cultures would assert. So are there actual spiritual benefits to fasting, and if so, what?
Yes, I just put a post up on this on Facebook about breaking fast. Our body has worked overnight, cleaning up all the abuse we have done to it, throughout the day. So the worst thing to do is to wake up and have a bacon, egg, and cheese, some pancakes, or yogurt, some dairy, something bad for the body, because the body just works all night to process what you have done. And this is why most people don't sleep good. Most people sleep too heavy. Most people are a total mess in the morning because your body's been working all night. It's been taking the energy to process everything because you finally stopped eating and gave it a break. So to get up, and you should get up and have room temperature water as soon as you get up. And that what happens is that flushes through the kidneys, so it becomes detoxifying. So this is why most people have that water, and the next thing they know, they're ready to have their bowel movement, because you just flushed the body and just got the waste out, because the water could just flow without having to go through all the waste in the intestines, kind of thing. And it went directly to the kidneys because the body has expelled everything. So to get up and to have a heavy breakfast full of chemicals and GMOs and man-made products is the worst thing. And I just told people the science of waiting till after 12 to eat. So in the morning, you should just pretty much have a nice herbal tea, a tea that stirs the body, like the stinging nettle, the yellow dock, the soursop, things like that. Or you could have dandelion root. You could have burdock root tea. You could just have nice teas, the blue Vervain tea, something like that, that's going to give the body energy, minerals, and everything. So it's good to have that in the morning with a smoothie. Blend a smoothie. I tell people, if you don't have enough time in the morning because you didn't find that balance, freeze your smoothie at night. So later on in the day, it's going to be falling out, so ready to go. Time you finish your teething pool, it fills you up. So you want to eat light in the morning. So when it's 12 o'clock, I don't eat until 5 or 6. So when it's 12 o'clock, you want to break fast with dates, like they tell the Muslims, break fast with dates so they're high in fiber. So your food will be processed faster. So whatever you fasted on, all that's going to make you go to the bathroom. Remember, you want to poop. So you want to break fast with dates, prunes, tamarind, figs, things like that, high in fiber. And then you want to have your lunch. And, whatever lifestyle you have, hopefully, a salad with no meat and eggs, and then you have whatever. But I only eat once a day, and that's because I have, trained my body to do that, because when I fasted my 30 days, I never got into my old bad habits because I was fighting the disease. My goal was to get rid of the disease, so I had to eat right, and I just never went back to it. So breaking fast is that. And there's another question you asked me about breaking fast. So yeah, you just want to keep it light, and that's why I tell people, get into your smoothies, and in your smoothies you can put sea moss in it. That gives you your minerals. In your smoothies, you don't need the protein powder. Save your money. You don't need milk. You don't need yogurt. No, just put your water in there. Sweeten it up with something, like raw agave or raw honey. You don't need much to sustain the body or to please the body.
Thank you. And regarding water, drink a lot of water if you can filter it. Yeah, that's definitely your best interest to get a filter. I installed a filter on my shower, and I was thinking about getting another filter in my kitchen, but then I thought, no, what's the point? I don't need to waste any more money for that. Just make sure I get all my water from the shower. Simple as that. And it may look kind of silly and all that, but it works. But
I never even thought of that.
Yeah. So, but anyhow, some have said that one of the worst possible waters you can drink is actually pure distilled water, because that will take all the nutrients out of your body. To drink pure distilled water that's just genuine pure water in and of itself with nothing else is basically gonna like dissolve your
body. The body of
is that true or what?
No, we have to remember, when we Google this, the first article is by Mercola. Mercola is the government. When a government takes the time to write an article, let's just sit back and ask the question, why is distilled water your main focus? Now, distilled water is missing minerals, yes, but you make that up from the rest of your diet, so it's not going to rob the body. For 2 years now, I cook with it, I drink it, I make my products out of distilled water. I have clients that tell me that I suggest that they go drink distilled water. I have clients that tell me they have pooped in one day than they would have in 1 month. because you should be pooping at least twice or more a day, because your body is full of waste, full of plaque, full of mucus. It has to come out. Sitting in your body serves no purpose at all. So distilled water has a lot of benefits to it. Drinking distilled water, you don't need as many glasses, because this distilled water actually nourishes the body. Now, the thing about spring water and all this, people are worried about alkaline water. Alkaline water is high temperature boiled water. It works. It's great. But save your money. Drink distilled water, 89 cents a gallon. Why spend all this money on alkaline water? People love this Crystal Geyser because it tests high on alkaline list. Okay, but it's spring water. Now, we all know spring water in other countries is okay to drink, some of them. But the spring water we're getting in bottles has inorganic minerals. We all learned this in science class. Inorganic mineral is fine dirt that cannot be filtered out because it's fine. So where is this fine dirt going to? It's going into your body. So all of a sudden your brain fog, all of a sudden your joints will start hurting. You're collecting kidney stones. How is this body producing stones? Gallbladder, how is this happening? It's because we're filtering all this fancy, cheap, buy 3, get for 20 cases of water. This Crystal Geyser that Dr. Sebi never said drink. These groups and people said drink Crystal Geyser from the dollar store. He never said that. He even said in several videos he drinks distilled water. Okay, distilled water is rainwater. Distilled water is every time you bite into a fruit and it has the juice. That's distilled water. Distilled water is pure water. And this is what distilled water is, reverse osmosis. This is why it's missing mineral, but it's pure because it's coming from the source. Just like urine. Your urine is pure. It's coming from the source. So you ever get stuck somewhere, you're always stranded, you ever don't know what to do, if you turn around and drink your urine, you're going to survive because it has all the minerals and it's your natural source of water. This bottled water is not natural. I don't care how much they charge you for it. It's all processed. And once again, inorganic minerals filtering into your body. Why is your knee hurting if you don't run? Why do you have this joint pain in your knee or your elbow? Well, all of a sudden the brain's slowing down. And it's not because of age. It's because of the abuse on the body. And we're filtering so much junk into the body. So the body is slowing down. This is why age is nothing but a number. But if you abuse your body for 40 years, 30 years, 50 years, it's going to catch up to you. Just like not sleeping for a few days, it's going to catch up to you. And that's what your body does. It has nothing to do with your age. Because like you said with that holistic doctor, he looks great for his age. He knows how to take care of the body.
Yes, and you're talking about another thing that we should eat a lot of now, fiber. Now, this is a little bit of a controversial issue because some people have said that fiber, well, it's good to make you take a dump and all, but it's not necessarily good for your intestine to have all that going through the intestine. I mean, they also say, like, with avoid wheat because it's got gluten, and also like potato skins. Potato skins may have some good vitamins and minerals in them, but it's not. They say it's not worth it to eat it because it's not good for your colon. Same with fiber, some assert. Are you suggesting that all that stuff about fiber being bad for your colon is a lie?
Yeah, because all your natural fruits and vegetables have fiber. This is why vegans poop a lot. This is why they go to the bathroom a lot, and all of them will say that because it has fiber. So, yeah, that's a lie. Mother Nature didn't put fiber in these things for nothing. This is why all these natural herbs focus on the intestine. Fiber is needed.
Okay, so if someone took a picture of your intestine, they wouldn't see damage caused by fiber. You're sure about that?
No, they'll see damage caused by the meat. They'll see damage because of the high acid foods. They'll see damage because of a poor lifestyle. Yes, most definitely. That doesn't. You gotta remember, like if you're frying meat, you're taking in all that processed starch, which is dry. So anything that's dry like that sits in the intestines. It builds up and builds up, and this is where the bulges come from in the waistline and things like that and all over the body. Because it's dry. It's not hydrated. This is why it's not natural. Natural things are hydrated. Things that grow from the earth are hydrated. And these things are not hybrid, so they just smash and smash and smash. This is why they say intestines could be as long as a lion and as wide as a lion, because it's a big tissue, and it expands. So fiber, you have to poop. If you don't poop, you got to remember everything that's rotten just sitting in you. So your farts stink, your breath stink, your body odor, you're balding, and you say, oh no, that's because my father bald. No, just because you have the same lifestyle as your father. Just like diseases. Diseases are not passed down. Lifestyles, habits, traditions are passed down. We believe we're supposed to have a spread on our table every Sunday. This is a tradition passed down. When Sunday comes, everybody didn't cook. No one cooked all week. When Sunday comes, we making these big fancy meals because it's a tradition. Those are passed down. So you're going to cook like your grandma, then your mom's going to cook like her mom, then you're going to cook like your mom. So this is where you and your mom both have diabetes. And y'all don't live in the same house, but you took on the same traditions, you took on the same lifestyle. Those are passed down, not diseases. Because I had an autoimmune disease. No one on my father's side and no one on my mother's side has an autoimmune disease. No one. So where would I get an autoimmune disease from? My lifestyle. Mucus in the body, bringing the body off of its natural harmony. Things start failing because things stop communicating. Just like a relationship. A relationship is going to fail if you stop communicating. Your higher self stops communicating with your intuition. If you stop communicating with your higher self, you start breaking down. You start just being, excuse my language, an F up. You just start messing up because you no longer have guidance. You're dumb. And this is why they say it's good to lay in the sun, be in the sun. Because if you're not in the sun, you pretty much have a dumb body. You're full of parasites.
Okay, well, let's talk about getting nutrients from the sun. And the whole idea that the sun is harmful is, for the most part, a great big lie. Although there is some debate as to the extent to which it can benefit you. I mean, sun gazing. I'm a sun gazer, and that it's been said that the body has a mechanism by which it can convert the light from the sun into nutrients, and not just vitamin D, but other types of nutrients. And I even remember for one of my interviews with a spiritual individual who was channeling a higher level entity, talking about what is skin tan. What is a skin tan? Well, many would say that that's a sign that you may get skin cancer. No. What it is, according to what the entity that was being channeled said, is that it's all the things in your body that are either toxic or not needed being brought to the surface. So that's a good thing. That's being brought to the surface and it's leaving your body. And the tan is that stuff brought to the surface. Okay, well, that raises another question. What is sunburn? I mean, sunburn, that's not tan, and sunburn hurts. How could it be a good thing? Well, my understanding, based on what I've tried to research and tried to deduce from this, sunburn, I think, is probably your body's way of saying overload, too much of a good thing. The sunlight is good for you, but you're getting too much of it, and your body can't handle the overload, so here's the sunburn to let you know you got to cut back. I mean, am I right about that? And am I also right about is that guy right that I interviewed about skin tan being the things your body that are toxic and your body doesn't need being brought to the surface?
Now, the skin tan, I don't know. It's interesting enough to ask myself that question and ponder that question. But right now, I'm going to say yes, but no, because toxins are going to come out. Because toxins, a pimple is a toxin. This is why most females get it during their menstrual, because the body's releasing toxins. Boils is those also. But I don't know. That's very interesting. I never thought about that. I can't answer that one. Interesting though. But a sunburn is pretty much what it is. The sun is burning you because not everyone has enough melanin in their skin. This is why some people could be in the sun more than others. All races is because of the melanin in the skin. And I sun gaze every day, and I'm at least in the sun every day for an hour or more. Now, I was there in the sun an hour or more yesterday, and I was there an hour or more today, sun gazing. I could gaze all day, any time of the day, because I have trained my eyes to do this. I do not recommend people to do this. They have instructions on this before you start sun gazing. Please follow instructions, because you can burn your eye, but burning your eye is recoverable. My king has done it, and he did it by mistake, but he just got it done and over with. This was a while ago. But even today, I had shorts on. I actually have a tan line. And I was out there yesterday and the day before, and that's just because, the sun is hot, of course. And if you don't have enough melanin, you will get, other parts will get darker than the other. And that's what a sunburn, suntan is. It's just not enough melanin. And I have a line because, of course, my shorts was covering the other part. So, yeah, everyone gets a suntan, but some people burn because of the melanin that's missing from their skin. And this is why they use the topical ointments, which is never good.
Right. Stay away from sunscreen too. And and also you say you can sun gaze any time of day. Yeah, I've tried that myself. They've often said that it's only safe if you sun gaze to do it during the first hour of sunrise and the last hour of sunset when the UV index is 0. However, Akashic Records reader Andrew Bartz has said a couple years ago in a talk that I remember he did, you can look at the sun any time of day. Sun gazing begins whenever you choose to get up was the words he used. And he said the electromagnetic energy bypasses the physical and goes right to the brain. Now, some would say, well, okay, then how do you explain the fact that, like in the documentary called Eat the Sun, which people may have seen on the documentary channel, the guy, he had his eyes checked after sun gazing, and it had what appeared to be damage to his eyes. Well, I've actually spoken to some people about this, and they assert that that's not, believe it or not, that damage is not really caused by looking at the sun. That damage is actually caused by the fact that a great many people on planet Earth have been suckered to believe the lie that looking at the sun is harmful. And that can cause a collective consciousness placebo effect. And even people who don't necessarily believe that looking at the sun is harmful will be affected by that placebo effect if they don't take care of themselves well enough. It's just like the mother that worries about her kids getting the flu every winter like crazy, and then every winter her kids get the flu and she has to take care of them. But then when she realizes how the law of attraction works, she envisions her kids being healthy, and then her kids during the winter, and the kids don't get the flu anymore.
She created that reality.
Yeah, and well, I'm a sun gazer, and well, my mother is an ophthalmologist. You can imagine how much shit she's given me about staring at the sun. She's been a little bit of a pain in the ass. I love her with all my heart, but when she bitches about it, it's a pain in the ass. And I've told her, well, you better stop doing that because you're going to cause damage to my eyes in the same way that the mother who worries about her kids getting the flu will give her kids the flu. And she didn't take kindly to me saying that, but I'm pretty sure I know what I'm talking about when I say that. So, and you seem to be agreeing with me on that. So make of that whatever you will. All right, I want to get back to something you talked about earlier in the talk about how when you ingest certain substances, like be it alcohol or something, you allow for archontic entities and other entities to affect you more easily. Well, some would say, well, the way to prevent that, ask your angels and guides to protect you. Like if you're going to toke a joint or drink a bottle of cough medicine or a bottle of alcohol or take some ayahuasca or whatever, it's in your best interest to bless the substance that you're going to consume, be it natural or synthetic, and then ask your angels and guides, please only allow for the highest good to come from this substance that I'm going to take. Do not allow for energies and entities to affect me. Well, is that going to protect you? Well, one would say, yeah, it's definitely going to protect you to a greater extent, but is it going to protect you 100%? I mean, is it possible that even if you ask your entities to help you, to shield you and all, the fact that you chose to take that substance anyway, which has the potential ability to let entities affect you, means that sometimes your angels and guides won't always be able to shield you, and you're going to have to pay the punishment, if you will, and you may get affected anyway, regardless of the fact that you asked for help and tried to bless the substance and shield yourself. I mean, I'm maybe digressing a little bit here and asking too many questions, but I'm trying to make sense of the whole phenomenon. So how can you make sense of the phenomenon? When are you going to get affected by entities, particularly malevolent and bad intentioned or not so good intentioned entities? When you take a psychoactive substance, what can you do about it?
Well, this is true, yes and no, because it depends. Everyone has a very, very strong mind. Now, it depends how you use your mind. If your mind is weak and you can't manifest and you can't control your thoughts, this is not going to be working. This is not going to work for you. If you do not know how to, if you don't know how to pretty much, yeah, just make it happen, it's not going to work for you. Because your mind is not is weak. So you saying something like this, you don't really believe it. You're just saying, okay, I'll just do this to try, to try to cover my ass. But you can manipulate the cells. You can manipulate the body. You could tell yourself, this hurts. I mean, this doesn't hurt and it won't hurt. It's just like, my last few tattoos, this don't hurt, this don't hurt, this don't hurt. And I had a full conversation because I told myself it don't hurt. People have healed their body with mind manipulation, talking to the cells. If you believe it, if the mind, okay, where energy flows, this is where you can heal, you can do just by the energy. But you have to have a powerful mind. You have to have no fear. You have to vibrate at a higher level. This book called Change Your Future Through Time Opening. This is a great read for anybody that's into learning how to control their thoughts, how to manifest, how to ascend, how to do all these things, because the mind controls everything. Just like when you get bad news, automatically your stomach hurts because you told this is a sensory. You told yourself you're sad. And then we have to understand our eyes are our senses. So when we look down, every time we look down, we vibrate low. Every time something happens, what do? Look down, hold our head down. Every time we look at our phones, we look down, hold our heads down. This is why most things on our phones are not positive, because we're looking down. That's low vibration. Hold your phone up. Hold your books up. And this is why schools are no good, because you're doing everything down. That's low vibration. We all know that. Your higher self. So you want to always be at your higher self. This is where the prayer comes from, and this is where, people, the Muslims praying the way they pray, up to their higher self. You're up to your higher self. So, yeah, you can manipulate the cells. That's possible. And some people can pray on it. It's just studies where you can even manipulate water. Like you could put different words on water and then put positive, peaceful words on some water with something in it, and do the same thing with some mean negative words and watch how that substance change to that mean negative word. So everything is energy. So, yes. If you know how to flow your energy, you can manipulate anything.
Yes, and related to that is the idea of using nature to nourish you. I mean, there's plenty of decent multivitamins and multiminerals out on the market that people can take. I take tangy tangerine from Longevity, and I believe it's pretty good. It's relatively expensive compared to many multivitamins, but that's because it's good. But some people would say, well, there's a problem. I mean, I can't really afford to buy these multivitamins, and for that matter, excuse me, I can't afford to buy healthy food. I'm poverty stricken and all. Well, what options do I have? Well, if you're going to continue to choose to stay poverty stricken, one thing that you could try to do is go out into nature, and I mean, this would probably work best if you took all your clothes off, I guess, but even with clothes on, it could work. Lift your arms out and say, nature, I want you to feed me. I am consciousness, you are consciousness, we're all consciousness. So, well, there's no reason this can't work, nature. So help me out here. Please, through my fingers and through my heart soul essence, please give me all the nutrients that I need. And well, this can be done anywhere because everything's consciousness, but many would assert that by virtue of the fact that energy flows where attention goes, it would kind of be better to go in like a nature environment, like a campground or something, or even by a campfire, make a ritual out of it. That would even enhance it even more. So for those that want to get into nature, to try to ask nature to feed them, what can you imagine would probably be the best possible setting and the best kind of natural environment to ask everything in nature that's consciousness, because everything is consciousness, to feed you if you can't afford the vitamins and all the food?
You don't have to do that. Like I said, if everyone has always been into a jam, and somehow they found their way out the jam because they actually ask themselves, how do I do this? How do I get this money? How do I get out this jam? And then they come up with aha moment. You don't have to do that. We just have to listen to that inner voice, our intuition. We have to be guided by our higher self. We have to be guided by our double that is living multi-dimensional places. Energy is like the speed of lighting. Our double is creating our reality. This is why we have to be very careful for the things we think, good or bad, because you're creating your reality. And then you create a detrimental reality because you're making your double do things that is not for you, is not divine. So we don't have to stand in nature and make and ask for that. If you're hungry and you say, I need something, and something tells you, all right, well, go in this car, just start driving. And then all of a sudden, while you walk to the car, it's $10 on the ground. That's your reward. Or someone says, hey, man, I got this extra meal plan for today. You want it? A coupon for today. That's divine. If you ask your higher self and let yourself guide you, you will figure it out. You will figure it out. And most things, if you're in nature, it's going to tell you that plant looks very familiar. And my opinion is probably some kind of green that is edible. That is edible. Or somebody might just give you $2 and you say, okay, what can I do with this $2? And it depends what type of lifestyle you do. Because I can make things happen for $2. I can get me some lettuce and I got some seasons at home. That will nourish me. I could get me some bananas. If that has to be. You can get you a bag of apples from the produce junction. So there's ways you can make it work. You just have to figure it out. You have to lose your common sense and you have to be guided by your intuition. We're always guided every day. We just have busy minds. We have a TV on. We have a radio on. We're worried about social media. We're worried about what this person doing, that person doing. We're worried about things that serve our life no purpose. So we're missing the synchronicities. We're missing the guidance from our higher self that's trying to help us, trying to save us, trying to guide us to consciousness, proper consciousness. Just like you not being a vegan yet. You're going to be a vegan very soon because it's all in your face. And the only way you won't be a vegan if you allow your ego to take control. And that's how that works.
Thank you for the good advice there. I make sure at all times to bless all my food, regardless of whether it's animal or non-animal.
You always want to be grateful.
Yes,
always.
yes, that's something to keep in mind. We've got about 10 minutes left. Well, maybe time for one more subject, and then I'll let you get at anything you like. But one final thing, somewhat related to the whole issue of taking substances and all. Well, I mean, it is taking a substance, but it's a substance in particular. It's one that most people can easily access. Want to get your take on tobacco use here, because cigarette smoking or tobacco smoking in general is harmful. Well, it depends. I mean, I only smoke one type of tobacco, mapacho tobacco, the kind that grows in the South American rainforest by big bundles for $100. And most potent species of tobacco in the world, highest amount of nicotine content per dose, and also has a very high content of psychoactive MAOIs that give it a slight hallucinogenic feel to it. And that's the kind of tobacco that ayahuasca shamans put in their brew to spice it up. And I can speak from experience here, and many others can too, that when you don't inhale tobacco into your lungs and just draw it into your mouth like pipe and cigar smokers do, you're not as likely to become addicted to the tobacco, because when you take it into your lungs, that instantly brings the nicotine and other chemicals straight to the brain, gives you an instant rush, and then it quickly gets out of your system very quickly, leaving you craving for more. But when you don't inhale it into your lungs and just draw it in your mouth, it takes time to get to the brain. It seeps through the mouth lining. The back of your tongue is actually maybe the best place to have the stuff seep in terms of the amount per surface area. And it gets into your system slowly, and it doesn't give as high a buzz, but it lasts a little bit longer, and the come down isn't so intense like it is from inhaling your lungs. It's less gradual, and that doesn't leave you craving for tobacco as much as a cigarette smoker who nails into their lungs would. So cigars, pipers, smokers don't crave tobacco as much. And does tobacco have medicinal properties? Well, I was at Tolik's recent conference over the fall equinox in Arizona this past weekend. Chief Golden Light Eagle and a couple of the other Native Americans who were there talked about how tobacco has the ability to ward off bad entities. I mean, you talk about consuming drugs, for lack of a better word. Many people say drugs is a derogatory term, but you know what I mean when I say it, so I'm going to use it anyway. When you inhale drugs, you allow archontic entities and other bad entities to affect you. But when you like rest tobacco on your heart or something like they described, or put tobacco outside your property, it acts as like a shield or a force field to keep the entities out. And in the case of Mapacho,
well, that was okay. I'm sorry.
What did you want to say?
I was going to say on that aspect, that's something different. Using things for outside of the body than inside of the body. So those are two different things.
Okay, and also in regard to like tobacco being used as a medicine, I remember George Kavassilis talking about how he used to be a Mapacho smoker, and he said Mapacho, compared to other tobaccos, very good for medicinal purposes in regards to enhancing concentration. And people say, well, smoking helps me think. Well, maybe that's all in your head, but if you use Mapacho, no, it's a completely different matter. You are definitely taking a good brain medicine, and you're also taking something that could prevent cancer. I mean, it can't prevent cancer to the extent that cannabis does, but it still can prevent cancer by alkalizing your body better to prevent the cancer. And so this whole thing about to smoke or not to smoke. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention. Akashic Records creator Andrew Bartzis, and this is one reason I actually decided to take up smoking. I had quit for smoking tobacco for a couple of years, but then I decided to take it up again and smoke Mapacho out of a pipe when I heard Bartzis say that he uses it to help speak in two dimensions. And what he means by that is it allows him for communicating to people who are sheeple, for lack of a better term, who like don't want to wake up and won't wake up easily, refuse to wake up, and like the far out crazy spiritual stuff that he talks about that sheeple can't make sense of. By smoking tobacco and blowing smoke out, it actually enables him to communicate the message, even though he's not changing his words anyway. The message is communicated and transformed into a manner via the tobacco smoke and the spirit in the tobacco, in a manner that allows for the sheeple-like people to better understand it. And with me having this radio show to expose the nature of reality with some of the crazy far-out stuff that I often talk about on many of my shows that would really make people think this host is mad as a hatter, among other things, I thought maybe it would be in my best interest to take up tobacco smoking again. And sometimes I do have a pipe to puff by my side when I do the shows. Don't have one for this show, but sometimes I do. To occasionally puff between talks, just to communicate my message out a little better for my listeners who may not necessarily resonate and be of a higher level consciousness to understand the stuff I talk about. So that's the main reason I decided to take a smoke again. I can assure you I'm not addicted to it, because it's Mapacho. I don't inhale, and I try not to be addicted to it. I just use it as a medicine. So to smoke or not to smoke, and if tobacco is a medicine, how are the best ways to use it as a medicine? Do you have any general advice on this?
I would say smoke, but don't smoke.
Okay.
I don't know too much about tobacco, and I don't know the different brands. I don't know the different angles. Like you were just saying, I never took the time to learn about that. That hasn't touched me with many of my clients or anything like that. So I don't know. I can't really give an opinion on that, but I do say this, like what I said, something used on the outside of the body is different from the inside of the body. It's just like turmeric. A lot of people swear by turmeric. Turmeric is horrible for the inside of the body, but on the outside of the body, if I cut myself and put turmeric on it, I can stop the bleeding. Inside, so just imagine what it would do to the inside of the body. It would kill cells, healthy cells. It's just like apple cider vinegar. It's good for something like fungus or something on your feet, but it's not good to drink apple cider vinegar because it's very high in acid. It will take away the enamel on your teeth and then take away the lining in your stomach. This is why your body gets to your mouth and say no, 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 and you have to force yourself to do it because you didn't listen to your body and you didn't listen to your intuition that says this stuff is crap. So it's just like that. So I don't know much about tobacco. Now with smoking, I tell people if you smoke and it's like an edible, like cannabis or something, do an edible, because actually lighting the fire in your body is creating more mucus, and you want to get the mucus out the body. So you're pretty much layering the lungs full of mucus. This is like why a lot of people spit and a lot of people have like like choke balls and stuff like that, because it's mucus in that area of the body. So the smoke does cause mucus. And then you never want to blow smoke out through your nostrils, because those are your sinuses. And when your sinuses are clogged up, your senses are off. Your ears, your eyesight, everything is off when your sinuses are off. You're miserable when your sinuses are clogged. So you always want to clean your sinus. You always want to keep on top of that. So you never want to blow smoke through the sinus, because the sinus is everything. You need your sinus. People with a clogged sinus are the most miserable people because they can't breathe, they can't hear, and they just throws off all the balance in the body. So tobacco, to each his own.
Okay, fair enough, as the old two-word radio cliche goes. So, well, I guess we'll bring the show to an end there. In the last minute or two, anything you like to get out, why don't you get it out now? So go ahead. Anything you want to say to finish up?
Yes, I just want to tell everybody, visit the website, Divine Natural Herbs. Like I said, the grocery store will be coming. I have free consultations. If you are fighting any type of dis-ease and they tell you there's no relief for it, no reversal for it, I'll put my money where my mouth is. I do change lives. I always change lives just the way I did. I have a whole story on there. Your consultation's free. Your 30 minutes are free. I also just added a GoFundMe onto my page because there's bigger things I'm trying to do with natural herbs. So expansion. So you guys give $1, $2, $20 to, the GoFundMe, and it's Divine Natural Herbs. Also, I do free classes at the Cobbs Creek Community Center here in West Philadelphia. So if you are available this next Wednesday on the 3rd, stop in at 7 o'clock, and I'll be giving free classes on how to transition into a vegan lifestyle. And my social media information, Instagram, Divine Natural Herbs 8, and social media, Facebook, Tina Ford. And you'll find me always posting information. I tell people I'm only here to make you think. At that point, you figure out what's your path. What's your direction? I'm only here to plant that seed, and you either make it grow or you don't. It's up to you. Everyone has their own mission. Everyone has their own purpose here this lifetime. And that's pretty much it. Check out the website. Check out on social media. Connect with me. It costs you nothing, just to understand who you are. I give free consultations with the food, consciousness, spirituality, and anything else. And that's pretty much it.
Okay, Tina Ford, it was a pleasure having you on. I learned a few things myself. I mean, there's some things that you said from a health standpoint that some people are going to want to raise eyebrows at and disagree with, but then again, you got to use your own discernment and do a little research on this to get the ultimate. Maybe there is no hard truth. Maybe it can vary because different things work for different people. But in general, there are pretty solid truth to some things that you can, for a generalized standpoint, make sense of and deduce, okay, it's probably not in my best interest or not in my best interest to do this from a health standpoint. And well, I'll let people research that on their own, and I'll have more health shows in the future that people can compare and contrast with this one and my one with Joel Wallach and all the other health experts I had, to see if there's anything contradictory. By all means, comment about it when I upload it to YouTube in the comment section, and people can try to do the research on their own to maybe find a definitive answer if there is one. So that's the homework assignment I have for some people, and I try to raise awareness about contradictory facts all the time on my show to understand the nature of reality, and I did that with you, and I think you did a pretty good job of answering my questions. So it was a pleasure having you on. Very informative, and I'll make sure I get this uploaded to YouTube as soon as possible. Good luck on everything you do in your future work, and enjoy the rest of your trek throughout infinite consciousness, Tina.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on. And also, I say that you should put your MyC vitamins down for 30 days and try sea moss and see the difference. Test the theory. You're all about nature. You're all about consciousness. Test it out, and you'll see a huge difference.
All right.
But I appreciate you having me.
I'll think about it. All right. Take care now and good luck.
Thanks.
Bye.
Peace.